Women, a podcast that provides a platform for women of all walks of life to share their upbringings, life lessons learned, experiences, and journeys to come. Uncommon Women speaks on topics that can relate to all women. We share, we listen, we laugh, we cry, and we empower each other to be the best uncommon woman that they can be. Ultimately, we are cultivating a global movement of women supporting women. Women supporting entrepreneurship, relationships, self-love, and so much more. We inspire each other to make an impact on this world for the better. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Uncommon Women. Now, finally, grab a seat, get comfortable, and hear from your wonderful hosts, Shanira and Jenny Lee.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Uncommon Women. I'm Jenny Lee.
And I'm Shanira.
And we have an amazing speaker. Her name is Jean O'Toole. She will be coming on and speaking on scholarships and grants for kids now that are going back to school. And she's going to give us so much information, so much goodies. And I cannot wait for what she has to say.
So before we get into the good gems, Jenny Lee is going to go into her bio. Go ahead, Jenny Lee.
Okay. Jean O'Toole is dedicated to help young people design their life. A scholarship strategist, author, and speaker who has inspired thousands of students across the nation win thousands of dollars up to $200,000 for some individual. Her 15 years of work of empowering young people to take a proactive role in their lives is inspired by her own educational journey based on the fact that how hard it is to pay of the educational finance. Despite having generous scholarships her family paid, remaining with student loan while she was attending Wagner College for a BS in Arts Administration. Her money mission kept her motivated to pay off. O'Toole is a certified JourneyDance facilitator and the author of the book Scholarship Strategies, Finding and Winning the Money Need. She will be speaking on the grants and scholarships and also giving us some important tactics.
So thank you, Jean.
Thanks, Shanira. Thanks, Jenny Lee, for all of that. It's really exciting to be here. I'm excited about our conversation today.
Yes, we are so excited to have you on our platform today, and we appreciate you coming in and just educating the parents and everyone that's actually listening. But before we get into the good stuff today, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how was your life growing up?
Yeah, so I grew up in Western Massachusetts, and I was the first person in my family to go to college. I have to tell you, I wish so much that I knew even a fraction of what I've come to know in all the research I've done now in my life, and because it would have been so helpful for my family and I. You know, when we were growing up, and again, being the first person in my family to go to college, we put all of our trust into our guidance counselors and the schools.
Yeah.
And I want to just say first and foremost that I am a super fan of all guidance counselors. They're doing amazing jobs.
No shade.
Yeah. I just need to shout that out because I recognize, how big their job is and how big their job, it continues to be every single year, really supporting students. But, paying for college, my family, we looked around, we did as best as we could, trying to find whatever opportunities that we could. I found some scholarships. I won some scholarships, but it wasn't enough. And I was like so many students across the United States and across the world, frankly, who, sit down and say, how am I going to do this? Right. And, I signed my name to a bunch of student loans and off I went to college. And, what I found, very quickly within my own professional career was, there's always, I always feel like the universe kind of, directs us to like where we're going to be, right?
Yeah.
And I had found myself early in my professional career in this really unique professional opportunity, which was as a national speaker for an organization called Making It Count.
Okay.
And Making It Count, there was roughly about 100 of us across the United States who traveled to high schools and universities, and we were helping students to take action in their life, be proactive about internships and designing their paths, and really taking ownership of their journey. And I'll tell you, Shanera and Jenny Lee, it gave me a really unique opportunity, and that was to have conversations, just like you have conversations, through this platform. Having conversations really helps to, open up and just open up the honest truth about what people are working through, right? And I had conversations in the smallest of towns to the largest of cities across the United States with students who would take me aside after my presentations, and they would say, "Jean, thanks so much for coming to my campus. I have to tell you, though, I'm really stressed out. I'm really stressed out about how my family's even paying for this college education, or the student loans that I've had to take out, or the high school students who would say to me, I feel really guilty about even heading to college because I have brothers and sisters who are coming up right behind me. And what are we going to do?" And it resonated with me. That resonated with me on such a deep level, because in every one of those conversations, I remembered my own, chat with my mom and my dad, and, realizing my brother was coming up right behind me, that, around the kitchen table talking about how we're going to pay for college. And I just felt really called to start doing some research. I was like, wow, there has to be another way.
Right.
What everybody is doing is what everybody's doing is it's not getting them where they want to go. And people are getting out of school with tons of debt. So, it was about 15 years ago, I dove into a really intensive research journey of learning what is available. And I started learning about all of these private scholarships out there, scholarships that are from companies, organizations, individuals, foundations, like scholarships that are not attached to colleges and universities. Scholarships that anybody, students can apply, and if they win it, they can use it at any school they're going to, or they can use it for additional things, right? Paying for their laptop, paying for their travel, paying for other expenses, because there's so much expenses. There's so many expenses in life. In that next
sure is.
So, when I started uncovering this, I was like, wow, if I'm able to do that, and I could, fill in what I call the how hole, right? It's the how hole. How do we find all this money? Like, if I could do that for students and show them how to actually find this money fast, and strategize on how to use their time more effectively with which scholarships they should be applying to, then we can change the situation. And that's what I'm on a quest for. I'm on a quest to have people design their life free of financial obstacle.
Burden, yes. Wow. That's awesome. Where was you when I started school?
I actually know that. Come on, I know. But here's what's great is that because of our conversation today, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to both of you for having me on your incredible show. I know that because of this conversation that we are going to have right now, that this is going to help families. It's going to help people make a different choice, take different action. And that means that there can be a different result.
Yes.
I agree. That's amazing.
It is. So, Jean, what are the myths that too many students and parents operate when it comes to scholarships?
There's so many myths and misconceptions. Yes, so many myths and misconceptions. I think that probably the three biggest myths are, number one, people think that, all scholarships are related to, grades, sports, or financial need. Okay. And of course there's scholarships for grades, sports, and financial need. But there's also scholarships for anything and everything you can imagine, right? Scholarships if you have curly hair, left-handed, you name it, there's a scholarship for it.
Wow.
If you play video games, there's scholarships for playing video games. You have pets at home. Guess what? You can apply for scholarships for caring for animals. Do you recycle at home?
Wow.
You can apply for scholarships for helping the environment. Private companies, private organizations, private scholarships are not attached to academia. And this is really important because this leads into why everyone should be checking this out. Everyone should be sharing this particular show with anyone in their life who has kids. Because, or maybe you yourself are thinking about going back to school. We'll get to that. But here's what's exciting is that private industry recognizes that if they put together a scholarship that they can deepen their brand, they can they can deepen brand awareness, they can gain so much media attention, right, by offering a scholarship. And so and they can also increase their their social responsibility quotient, right? So by doing that, they're wanting to have impact on their industry or having, we hope that they're of course they're wanting to do something good for the world, but they're doing this because it is also going to have impact on their company or their organization or their overall industry. And so there's more and more companies and more organizations offering thousands of dollars every single year. The opportunities are there. So myth number one is that for sure, all scholarships are not, attached to these structured boxes, right? It's really, there's scholarships for everything and anything you can imagine. If you're tall, there's scholarships. If you're short, there's scholarships. Shanera, you wear glasses, there's scholarships for that. So, there's opportunities because companies want to honor whatever it is that they're looking to do. For example, here on your show, Uncommon Women, there's tons of scholarships that are just for women, because those organizations are wanting to empower women.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So it's something to think about, and I want to say that anybody out there who's watching the show who's an entrepreneur, whether you have a small company, mid-sized company, large company, consider putting together a scholarship. It is a massive win-win for you. It is a massive win-win for the community, right? The next big major myth is that people think that they have to be a high school senior to be applying for this money. And that's not true. Of course, there's scholarships for high school seniors, but there's also scholarships for students, frankly, from 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old, all the way up, to senior citizen, all the way up to senior citizen. I'm going to give you an example because, I'm going to purposely give this example because I bet it's a company that anyone who is watching this show and listening to this show is going to be familiar with, and that's a scholarship from Google. Google has a scholarship open to students in the United States, kindergarten through 12th grade.
Wow.
They give away $30,000 plus huge tech packages every single year. And yet most people don't realize that those opportunities are there. So there's scholarships for younger students. There's scholarships also for older students. Jenny Lee, I know that you have a daughter who's heading off to college, and what's exciting, and this is the one piece of information I will tell you. If I could have talked to my former self, what I wanted to tell her, I would have said, Jean, don't stop with the scholarship searching. You picked up the high school diploma. Don't stop searching, because there's so much money that's only for undergraduate students and beyond. So undergraduate and graduate students, doctoral students, people who are heading off to 2-year schools, trade schools, certification types of opportunities. And it has nothing to do even for the high school students. So every day that you are walking in the role of a student, there's opportunities that you can apply for and win. So keep that money mission going. And then the last big myth I would say is that a lot of times people think that they can win only one scholarship. I hear all the time, from a student who might say, "Look, I've been offered a full ride from this college or this university because of my grades or because of a skill, right? Or, maybe it's a sport or they're some sort of artistic ability." And I'll say, great, that's fantastic. Congratulations to you. Mm-hmm. Keep applying, because there's no cap on private scholarships. The only money that receiving a scholarship is going to eliminate you from would be a scholarship based on financial need, right? If you are being offered a full ride, you no longer have need, and you are not going to then qualify for that other money. But that is just one of many, many scholarships categories. So just because you got a full ride, you can still get money for leadership, community service, scholarships, for doing that environmental projects, doing the scholarship for doing some sort of creative project, doing a scholarship for simply writing an essay about.
Oh, she froze.
What you want to do.
That's fine. So come back.
Oh, I'm. Oh, are you there?
Yep, we're here.
We're still here.
Okay, great, good. Yeah, so needless to say, there's a lot of myths and misconceptions, and I'm glad we're getting to the truth tonight.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I'm glad that you spoke on giving the education about people, applying for kids that's in elementary, because that's the last thing that people think of.
Yeah. There's a question that I get often from parents who do have elementary school students or middle school students. Parents, a lot of times parents want to ask, they're like, why would they do that? Like, why would a company actually give money to a younger kid, or how does that work? Like, right? So I'm just curious, because I'm looking at your face, Shanera. Is that something that was going through your head?
Yeah, because I'm like, what happens if they change their mind? Like, how does that process work?
Yeah. So it's a really good question, and so number one, again, always keep in mind who's giving away this money. Private industry, so they or nonprofit organizations, and they are generally creating these scholarships because it aligns with their organizational or corporate mission. Okay. Right now, how the scholarships would get awarded for a younger student is if it's a smaller amount of money. When I say smaller amount, I'm talking about, maybe less than $2,500, something like that. Usually just gets awarded in the form of a check sent to the family. Families are literally able to use that money now if they wanted to for camps, for school types educational opportunities now, or save that money for future college. But most large awards will get awarded in the form of a bond that will mature when the student turns 18.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And here's again the why, like answering the reason, like why would they do that, right? Because again, people think scholarship, they immediately think college. But scholarship is for is to remove an obstacle. A scholarship can be awarded to remove an obstacle. A scholarship can be awarded to inspire. And so there's so many organizations that want to inspire, a young person to take action that aligns with their organizational mission. There are tons of scholarships that are open to younger students that relate to helping the environment.
That's
Because
good.
companies and organizations are wanting to encourage young people to take interest in the environment. I'll give you an example, though, something really specific, especially since we're on Uncommon Women. There's an award that's called the Angela Award,
Okay.
and it is only open to girls in grades 5 through 8 who, and that's it. And it is a scholarship. I believe it's either $1,000 or $2,000, but it's to inspire girls in grades 5 through 8 to take an interest in science. So that organization,
that.
That's
oh,
amazing,
cool, right? Yeah,
I like that.
and anybody can find that. I mean, if you want any of the scholarships that I mentioned today, reach out to me. But you can also just Google it. So it's called the Angela Award. You'll find it right away. And it's been around for a long time. And this is literally an organization that has decided let's empower young women to think about STEM fields and science, right? So there's an incredible amount of opportunity out there.
Yeah, because I can't even think the last time I heard of a woman wanted to be a scientist. I hear the nursing portion because that's they have to study science.
Yeah.
So I think that's very intriguing as well. That's awesome.
It is. I love that because that gives, like, especially when they're so little like that, it gives them like the inspiration to like want to continue their schooling. As they get older, like, hey, I won this award, I can win another one. I can win more money.
Yeah.
I can win more scholarships, and all that money combined together, they're able to pay off their college.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
And sometimes scholarships have been created for younger students, just to encourage creativity. I'll give you another example. This scholarship, unfortunately, did not happen this year, but it just as an example. Jif Peanut Butter, gave away a scholarship for many years that was only open to younger students, and the scholarship application, was literally, encouraging a younger student to come up with their most creative peanut butter sandwich. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So think about it also too in all of I look at things through so many different lenses, right? So that is an amazing opportunity in terms of PR and marketing for Jeff.
Promotion.
Right? Everybody's going to talk about this $20,000 scholarship. Right? Everybody will cover it. Pick it up, right? That is it's great for a company, right? To think about that, because so many media outlets will pick that up and want to talk about that. The second thing is that it is inspiring. It's inspiring that, and honoring that young person to brainstorm, to be creative, right? Really, to have them push the envelope with their own creativity.
Yeah.
The third lens is that they're obviously building brand awareness for that young person right early on. Right. So there's so many reasons why scholarships make sense for both the award committee and also the recipient.
That's good. I love that. And it makes kids think outside the box at that age,
Yeah.
Without them even knowing it.
There you go. And there's some scholarships that really surprise people. For example, there's I don't know if your kids play any video games, but there's
definitely.
Yeah, they do.
There's a lot of scholarships now related to video games. And
I'll have to look into that.
there's a scholarship, for example, that is all about Minecraft. Now, about the video game Minecraft.
Video game Minecraft, yes, I know about that.
Well, let me tell you, you should, as a family, you should be looking into it, because it's an opportunity that is literally from a company that challenges students to write an essay about why they think Minecraft, by learning about Minecraft, how that actually can help them as a student. So it challenges, you know, the creative writing and just the brainstorming and the thinking for a young student.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We're
I think
going to connect.
yeah, I think it also helps when they do stuff like that, kind of with their in their intellect, to just kind of bring it out, you know, the potential. I like that. We definitely got to connect too, like connect.
if you connect, you know, if you know, I'm sure you both know as parents that if you can draw a thread between something that connects with your child and something that can help them in their future. You can connect, and this goes for any of us at any of our ages, right? Any single one of us, if I can connect joy and something that I'm interested in with something that actually can up-level my life, let's lean into that.
And they'll do it.
Yeah. There's another scholarship. It's open to students age 13 and up, where it's actually called the Zombie Apocalypse Scholarship. All right. This is a real scholarship. Okay. The Zombie Apocalypse Scholarship, which has a deadline every year of Halloween, October 31st. It is a creative writing scholarship that just encourages, I believe it's $1,000 or maybe $1,500. It encourages students to write a short essay about how they would battle a zombie apocalypse if it were to come to the school. Okay, so it's just
that's creative writing.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's fun.
We're gonna have fun now from 8th grade to college.
I love the ideas, because it's just so much brainstorming and so much creativity, especially when they're young, and it's just like it makes them work the brain. That's what I love, you know. And I definitely have to have a talk with my daughter.
and you know, sometimes they're deeper questions. Sometimes they're deeper questions. Sometimes it's, you know, what type of impact do you want to have on the world? You know, one of the things that I actually, a strategic move that I encourage for, you know, my clients who I work with, families who I have conversations with, I recommend to anyone who's getting into this scholarship pursuit to think about impact. To think about impact as the number one thing getting into this game, because impact is the reason why the scholarship was created. And so it at the end of the day, it's what you should be communicating, even if you are not sure yet, right, what your long-term vision is. That's okay. And you know, more than half of students who go to college change their majors anyway. It's not about knowing what you want to do with your life, but I tell students all the time, it is so important for you to think about crafting what I call a why you statement. So a why you statement is just 2 or 3 sentences. It's not some big essay. Right. 2 or 3 sentences that really speak to how the money, whatever that amount of money is, how the money goes beyond you. Pebble in the ocean. Right? The ripples from the pebble in the ocean. The money should go beyond you. And you should be communicating that to a scholarship committee. I'll give you an example. I had a student who several years ago, I had met her in, I had gone to her high school to speak, and we did a big assembly at her high school. She really took my scholarship strategy. She ran with them. She did very, very, very well. And she was heading off to a university in Pennsylvania, I believe as an education major. Her YU statement was awesome. And here's what it was in kind of like a nutshell. She wrote, and made sure that she included this with all of her applications. She wrote, because anyone who has a YU statement, you should make sure you send it out. Send it like as part of your application. She wrote, if your organization grants me this scholarship, I'd like you to know my goal is to go beyond becoming a teacher. My goal is to perhaps become a principal, maybe even a superintendent, therefore have the opportunity to impact and inspire not just hundreds of students, but potentially thousands. Boom. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter in that moment. It doesn't matter, all of the things that are on the transcript, right? Because let's put some truth on the table. Anybody who's applying for scholarships, you're going to be applying to students who also have a great GPA, who also have done community service, who've also done, a lot of the similar things that you have done. So why should they give the money to you? Because we want to communicate that it's not just 500, 5,000, 50,000, whatever the amount is. It's not just money that impacts you. It's money that will stretch.
The foundation
of their lives.
Yes.
That's great. So speaking on the grants and the scholarships, I know that you list, 15 ways on how to reduce college cost in your book. Can you please share a little bit of them to help others as well?
Yeah, I mean, cut the bill from all angles, right? Cut the bill from all angles. Yeah, it's money mission. So yeah, we actually, in my book, we have 25 strategies on finding scholarships and approaching the scholarship process. But we do also have this very special chapter on 15 ways to cut the college bill beyond scholarships and beyond financial aid. And a couple of the biggest ways to cut college costs would be these two that I'm going to share with you. Number one is what you do. Let's frame it out with what you're doing before you get to what you're bringing to the table before college, and then the second would be what you're doing while you're in college. So let's talk about before. So college. The college education, whether it's a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, or more, right? At the end of the day, it is you get the degree you get the degree because you've fulfilled certain amount of credits for that degree.
Okay.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that they can actually be acquiring many college credits before they get to day one of college.
Okay.
And whether that is through testing out of courses, that would be a requirement. Some of the testing out of courses, maybe through an AP class that they've taken in their high school. Students who have taken advantage of a summer program that also gave college credits. Most community colleges in the United States have programs that high school students can also attend for free or at a reduced cost, meaning that a high school student can actually be acquiring and literally putting in a pile tons of college credits before they start day one of college. I have met students who were starting day one of college with anywhere between 12 to 16 college credits. Okay. And which means that they're starting their first year of college already as a second semester first year student.
Okay.
What that means in terms of savings could be anywhere from 10 grand to 40 grand.
Wow.
For a family. I mean, it's real
Really
money.
big.
It is massive savings, right off the top. So it's always looking at, you want to get in and get out as fast as you can. Another massive cost savings once a student is already in college is to strategically. You have to ask. It's not a lot of this stuff. This is not unfortunately, it's not that someone's going to tell you about it.
Right.
That's why we're
They want you to spend it. Right.
So once you're in college, it's strategically asking and making sure, okay, number one, are there any courses that can be taken during a winter break, during a spring break, or not necessarily maybe during a spring break, but during a summer break?
Okay.
Maybe, let's say, at the community college, that can accelerate how fast they're getting out of school. Think about this. Let's say a traditional 4-year degree. If you could do a 4-year degree in 3 years, which many people can do,
Mm-hmm.
if you're strategic about it, you are saving right off the top of money anywhere between 20 grand, and
That's
some
true.
schools are $70,000 a year.
Yes.
Wow.
Like, it is massive amounts of savings,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to be strategic about it, right? So it's asking, and what can I take now? Also, to kind of along the same lines, if someone knows that they are going to, they're on the path, their professional academic path will require multiple degrees, whether that's grad school, whether that's med school, law school, things like that. Be strategic right from the beginning. Ask, how can I line up and start taking some courses faster? Because many students, if they're smart about it, can get their bachelor's and their master's in 5 years.
Wow.
Instead of the typical 6 to 8.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Yeah. So many, in fact, many colleges and universities even have what are called accelerated programs, combined accelerated programs. If someone is listening to this show, is tuning into this show, again, share this show with everybody that you know, because that one piece of information should incentivize you.
Mm-hmm.
Even ask and consider what colleges have combined programs that are going to fit what I want to do with my life. So that way you get in, get out as fast as you can, and be and save. I mean, it's literally saving, tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, that's tens of thousands of dollars. Isn't
Right.
it? Yeah, it's a massive move. So that and more there's so many ways to cut the college bill. One thing that I wish that I had learned, or I had known about in advance, and unfortunately, a lot of times, we, when we were, again, those of us, especially first person in my family to go to college, I didn't know this piece of information until I was actually there. But, students should be asking about opportunities to become a resident assistant, an RA, at their college campus.
Okay.
The RA positions at college campuses, not only is there if you can obtain an RA position, it is, you not only can you receive free room and board, but many RA positions also include a stipend, so you can get paid and have cut an enormous amount of room and board is a huge cost. So take that on the bill too. Yeah.
Wow.
Come at it from all angles. Yeah. Come
Right.
at it from all angles.
That's awesome. And they don't talk about this stuff.
No, they don't. Not at all.
Yeah, I know.
Not at all.
That's why we have to talk about it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like I was telling you earlier in our conversation, when I was going through the process of filing the financial aid for my daughter, there was, and I mean, the guidance counselor did what she was supposed to do, but it was like she wasn't really giving me like information, and I'm just so mind boggled of all the things that you're saying. Because if I would have known this sooner, I would have been like, Jalia, let's look into grants and scholarships for you, because like you said, like it could be a burden on cost for parents and the student as well, and trying to pay off the student loans.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, I appreciate the information, to be honest.
Well, listen, it's not too late. It's not too late, right? It's not too late. It is never too late to get into the scholarship game. That is one of the things that I get phone calls all the time. Is it too late? And no, it's never too late. There's scholarships that are happening right now this week that have deadlines this week that are open to high school, undergrad, graduate school. I mean, like, students of all ages. There's scholarships that are open this summer right now to middle school students and to elementary school students. And, it's not too late. You just got to make the decision and start. You have to make the decision start. But I'll tell you with regards to that what you said, Jenny Lee, in how the school was navigating you, because I hear this often. Again, I'm a fan of all school guidance counselors. I know they're doing a really, really great job. I'm grateful to all my friends who are school guidance counselors. But here's the thing: I also know that they have 3 other priorities before sharing this information. 3 other priorities that are so much bigger than this, right? Priority number 1, making sure that a student is on track to graduate from high school. Priority number 2, making sure that those college applications are happening and that those applications are getting out. And priority number 3, making sure that that as a family you completed filling out the FAFSA, the financial aid, paperwork. So that is done. So check. That is a lot to already navigate and manage.
Yeah.
Scholarships are not required for anybody to do.
That's true.
And unfortunately, there's also no one-stop shop, to find every single scholarship.
Yeah.
There's also, and there's no incentive for the scholarship companies, organizations, individuals, foundations. There's no incentive for them to make sure that every high school in America has their information. Right? They don't need to, why should they do that? Right? They'll put out a scholarship, and if someone is proactive, they'll find it. Right? So if we can actually start that ball rolling and make this easy for students, it doesn't have to be a part-time job, right? I actually, when I'm working with students and families, you should be intentional about making this as easy as possible, so that the car gets on the road and we can keep it on the road. Because it's a marathon, not a sprint. I want you applying for scholarships every semester you're a student in your life. So it should be as easy as possible. I recommend a half hour 3 times a week. That's it. 30 minutes here. Boom. If 30 minutes you're inspired, it turns into 45 minutes. Well, right on. Great, good for you, but you didn't have to do that.
Right.
30 minutes, three times a week. And whether you're, looking for scholarships, whether you're getting an application out, I also recommend, kind of framing it out, looking at it as, make it a goal, 2 scholarships a week. Easy enough to do because most of them take very few minutes to actually put together. But 2 scholarships a week. If somebody did that, because it's a numbers game, do we win every single scholarship? No. I could probably talk. There's probably on one hand, I've met students who have won every single scholarship that they've applied for, and that just happened to be because they applied to 1 or 2 and they happen to win those 1 or 2. But it's a numbers game, and you want to apply to as many as you possibly can. So if you are focused on just a few minutes of your time and energy during the week, set alarms in your phone, do what you got to do. It's scholarship, 30 minutes, go. All right, done. We're done. And we get out 2 scholarships every single week. In a year, you would have applied to over 100 scholarships that year. Doesn't have to be hard. It's just a little bit of time and energy. That's it.
And I love the part where you said intentional, be intentional, because it's like if you start with the kids early, when they get to high school, they're already used to filling out the I love that pattern, how you said be intentional. I love that.
Shanera, it's if there's one piece that really like keeps me doing this work that I'm doing, and it is the fact that it's a personal goal of mine to see at some point. I mean, I've been having these conversations for a long time, but I recognize I'll keep having these conversations. But if a family could actually start this process early on, and then by the time, right, literally literally being inspiring also the skills of being proactive,
Mm-hmm.
the skills of being creative, the skills of searching for information for themselves. By the time they are that junior or senior in high school, they potentially could have already a pile of money.
Right.
And then it is not like, standing in my truth, when it came time to apply for college, I gratefully was accepted to the schools that I had applied to, but the school I went to was the school that had given us the most money. And that is the story for many, many, many people. How great would it be if that wasn't even part of the conversation anymore?
Right.
Where literally the pile of money's already there.
Right.
And now it's just, what is the school that's actually best for you? That's what can be changed. That's what can be created. And if that does happen, and even if it is the student who, Jenny Lee, like your daughter, starting undergrad, getting the car on the road, moving this through, by the time she's done with college, picking up that degree, she could have paid off any student loan she may have had in advance.
Wow.
People can walk off college campuses with a degree and zero student loan debt. That's the shift. That's the big change. That could change families, communities. It could change so much, because now those young people, those people, starting off in their life, or even people who are now they're going through grad school, whatever, they're now in this life chapter, right? You've decided to take this life chapter step for yourself. Now you can actually move forward with it boldly. Right? There's not going to be I have to get a second job and a third job, and I have to put off starting the business. Right. I have to put off buying the real estate. I have to put off starting the family. I have to put off because of financial reasons. We could remove that. But it has to start with people knowing that, A, that these opportunities are there, and B, that the green light is there. Like, they can start now. They can start today.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm very passionate about this. But I will say that something that, everyone should know, we actually have, a free, it's free, how to get started on finding scholarships. It's a free PDF. You can download it at connections101.com. There's a free list of tons of scholarship websites. Download it. Go there. We have so much information there because it's available for you to just get your own car on the road today.
Right.
Get it rolling.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's amazing. What advice do you have for students that's applying for schools, and trying to actually keep up with their studies and seeking out scholarships, and parents that's feeling overwhelmed? Like, what advice can you give them? I know that they're out there, the scholarships and the grants are out there, but what can you do when they're feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah. So that's a really good question, and it also aligns with one of a really top strategy that has helped so many students. And that is what I refer to in our book as using what I call ready to go material.
Okay.
So if you're feeling, so first of all, if you're feeling overwhelmed, take a breath. Take a breath. Like, this is your life. Like, it's okay. It's okay. We all get there one step at a time. It's all good. It's all good. And you want to enjoy the journey, but you can also help yourself out by using what I call ready to go material. So back to your a question you had asked me, Jenny Lee, beginning of our show, you had asked about myths. And a lot of times people think that every scholarship that they apply to must relate to what they want to do with their life. And that's not true. I don't know where that came from. That's not true. Sure, there's scholarships that are connected maybe to a specific career field. but many, many, many are not. And ready to go material is how you can maximize this. So here's what ready to go material is.
Okay.
Any papers, any projects, any essays, any poems, anything that you have saved to your cloud. Maybe it was a homework assignment for school. Maybe it was a project you did outside of school. You have it saved somewhere. Dig it out. Dig it out. You wrote poetry just for your own enjoyment. Dig it out, because there's what we want to find. What we actually want to do is we want to take anything where the sweat equity has already been, invested, the time has already been invested. Let's find a scholarship connected to that. Let's take that. Let's make this easy for you. For example, there's a scholarship that I get asked all the time, Jean, how can I use my past homeworks? Well, there's a lot of scholarships, a lot of organizations that want to give money away for that could relate to maybe something that you wrote in a social studies class, in a U.S. history class, maybe you wrote something in an English class. There's an organization, for example, called the Lincoln. It's the Abraham Lincoln Foundation, I believe. I can double check that, but it is a scholarship that honors Abraham Lincoln, right? Just as an example. And many students, I'm sure, have something saved in their cloud from a U.S. history paper, maybe an essay that they wrote that maybe had to do with the Civil War. Most students have to write about the Civil War at some point during high school, and they may not have the essay itself may not have been structured about Abraham Lincoln, but they probably mentioned Abraham Lincoln somewhere in this essay.
Okay.
Well, they can take that essay and maybe just make a short adjustments, right, at your intro and your conclusion, and basically it's repackaging.
Right.
Send it out. Send it out, and you might be able to get a couple $1,000s from the Abraham Lincoln organization, right? That
Wow.
Right? So also too. Scholarships for students who've been involved with social justice, scholarships for students who have been involved with projects related to bullying and anti-bullying, scholarships that are related to helping to empower other people who might have some sort of either invisible or visible disability, scholarships that encourage people to take action. And it could have been a project they did, again, that was for a class, or it could have been something that they did on their own. Tons of poetry scholarships are out there. You could take a poem that you wrote for a sophomore year English class, or a poem you just wrote for your own personal writing. Send it out to any number of these poetry scholarships. Take that money, pay for the business degree. Pay for the pre-law degree, right? So it's amazing. Using ready-to-go material can help you to really work your numbers game really fast without having done a lot of extra effort.
I love that. It's so powerful. We got to start saving like all our stuff now.
Yeah.
Thank God for Google Drive.
I know. I save it all. And like look at I take clients through a process I call money mapping, which is like really taking a look at like, well, here's what we have. Here's what the essay was about, or the homework was about. What else is there? Like kind of like pulling it apart, right? Pulling it apart. That's how you discover the scholarship that can be used for the Abraham Lincoln organization. Right? Pulling it apart. Is there, are you talking about free speech? What are you talking about? What is it? What are the topics that are within it? Every one of those topics that might be mentioned could be a potential scholarship category to search on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have a question for, we get a lot of online scammers Is there, how can you give it any advice on how to insinuate giving away any key information on a fake scholarship?
Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up. So unfortunately, there's so many, there's a lot of scams out there for scholarships, and they're going to just keep continuing because unfortunately there's always a new, there's a new community of students looking for scholarships every single year.
Yeah.
Okay. So here are the 2 red flags. Okay. 2 red flags, something's a scam. Number one, we don't pay money to get money.
That's right.
Okay. Anything that says registration fee, processing fee, application fee, that is a red flag. It's a scam. And you should, and I recommend that somebody finds that, a parent finds that, a student finds that, notify your school or your college campus right away, so that way they can notify other people. Now, I will say, I do have to say with that though, that in the research I've done over these past 15 years, I have come across a few, like less than 5, a few scholarships that had a small fee that turned out to be legitimate. They all happened to be art-related scholarships, and it had to do with the portfolio review fee. I will tell you, I tell my students that I work with, I wouldn't apply for it. But I know that it did have to do with the art, like an art portfolio review with a whole committee. Now, I personally though am of the belief we don't pay money to get money. Okay. Second big red flag is careful of any application that is insistent upon a social security number.
Okay.
Scholarships are not financial aid. Okay. Private scholarships are from companies, organizations, individuals, and foundations. It's not part of your financial aid package, right? Colleges that are giving away scholarships, those are college specific scholarships, and that might be connected to a financial aid package. Okay. But a private scholarship can be open to citizens, non-citizens, recent immigrants. Whether or not somebody has a social security number does not prevent them from participating in the process.
Okay.
Okay. It will specify in the scholarship if there's any citizenship, requirements. It's their money. It's their money. They get to decide who and what they want to honor. But any scholarship that is insistent upon a social security number, skip. Again, make sure you notify your school or your college campus. Have them communicate that to other families.
Now, with that being said, if there's a certain amount of money that you're receiving, you said that they don't ask for your social security number, but is that something that the parents have to claim, even though, you understand what I'm saying? Even though they get rewarded the money, how does that go? I'm sorry if I'm explaining right.
Yeah, no, I think I understand what you're saying. So, do they have to report it?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 things. So number one, if a scholarship is being given awarded by a private for-profit company, if it's being awarded from a for-profit company, there may a scholarship recipient, depending on the amount of that scholarship, the recipient may have to pay taxes on it.
Okay.
Okay. It will actually say in the description of the scholarship.
Okay.
But I would never don't let that discourage you. Okay. You have to give back $10 of it, to get, $1,500, whatever it is, please, don't let, so because it's if it's from a private enterprise, from a private company, it might need to be reported.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you have won scholarship monies and you're filling out the FAFSA, we're talking about filling out the FAFSA, right?
Yeah.
If you have been awarded, let's say, $50,000 from this particular scholarship, yeah, you're going to need to, that will be part of You will need to share that with your college. That because now will that impact a financial package based on need? Yeah, it'll impact need, but not merit.
Okay.
Okay. So again, so need is the need of any financial need of any family. Merit are grades. Okay. And based on grades. So I want to say this as a general rule. Go for it all.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hold back because you're worried about, well, I don't know how this is going to impact me over here, over there. Listen, that is a really good problem to have if you have this problem.
Right.
Right? So go for it, like steamroll. Go for it. Okay. I want you to go for it. And if because you received $50,000 over here, that lessens your the financial money you get from your college by 10 grand or whatever. Okay, you're still ahead of the game.
Right.
Right. Like don't hold back your focus just
Don't
because
limit yourself. Right.
No,
yeah.
never.
You want at the end of the day, you want to cover the cost. So by covering the cost, you have to be proactive.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
I'm glad you asked that because I'm not sure. Yeah, but it's a popular question that I get.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't let it hold you back. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
So with everything that you have mentioned with the scholarships and the grants and all the goodies that you just gave us, what inspired you to want to help the youth?
Because I really believe that I shared a little bit about how I grew up.
First college. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just also as an entrepreneur, and also as someone who we're all finding our way throughout throughout life. It's let's make it easier.
Yeah.
Make it easier. It doesn't have to. There's so much struggle financially that doesn't have to be there.
That's good.
And even families who may be in a position where maybe monies have been saved from the family provide for college education. Guess what? There's so many scholarships. I would rather see that young person receive that money that's been saved from their family and use it to start their business, buy real estate, do it, go use it for another dream.
Mm-hmm.
Use that for another dream, because the scholarship money is there if you actually are proactive about it. And if we could, if things can start to shift and change, then I feel like I'm living in alignment with purpose.
Yes.
That's how I wasn't blessed with kids. I'm a dog mom. My husband is also, he's an educator,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually works with high school students. And I do this work, and I'm also a life coach. And it didn't happen for us. We didn't have kids. I really feel that we are in this position though in our life, working with young people and working with families and having conversations like this. That's how that's my legacy.
That's your purpose. That's all.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
So you did touch briefly in regards to where we can find you on Connections 101 and how to get some resources in regards to that. Is there anything else that you would like to share about your business and how you help others that you would like us to discuss today?
I mean, we're constantly posting on social media. People can join. There's a free Facebook group, Scholarship Seeker Community. You can join that group. You can follow our Facebook page, Scholarship Strategies. That's also the name of my book, Scholarship Strategies. There's also, which is a bestseller. We're very proud about that. helping lots of people. But we also our scholarship strategies on Instagram. People can pop me a tweet. You can find me at Scholarship Jean on Twitter, and we're constantly posting opportunities. Reach out to us on Connections 101. There's a few ways that we serve families. Number one, the free resources I mentioned before. There's a free how to get started guide, free resources. Literally, someone could go there today and start getting this going, start applying for scholarships now. Second way that we help families is if you want to skip a whole bunch of time in finding, doing the search for yourself, we have put together lists of scholarships.
Okay.
Over 200 scholarships for high school students, over 100 scholarships for undergraduate students, over 100 scholarships for graduate school students.
Wow.
And we keep that, you can download the list, $25. We keep it really affordable for families. It just covers our administration. We have a scholarship community. You can join our community and have access to my team and I. We are constantly sending out alerts and scholarships and videos and letting people know, just keeping them engaged. It's about keeping everybody engaged. And then lastly, if anybody wants to, I do have the opportunity for people to meet one-on-one with me. I call it a scholarship jumpstart session. And, let's money map. Let's go. Right. Let's go.
Awesome.
And we can work that out. But I'll tell you, more than anything, I just hope that if someone is tuning in and they're hearing this information today, share this with anybody and everybody because the story can change. The story can change on this. Just that people need to know that there is a different option. Most of us didn't know that was there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jean. Is there anything else that you want to share that we didn't cover?
I can talk all time. I will say that I'm just it's been such an honor to be with the both of you. What you are both doing in the world is so incredible and really empowering women and having these conversations and empowering families and individuals to live their best lives and just have more information. I am excited to just let people know, especially the both of you, that there's scholarships, tons of them, that are just for women. And scholarships for young girls, scholarships for women who have left, who have even left and are done with maybe their degree and want to create and empower and have impact on women in other parts of the world. There's thousands and thousands of dollars. And so always look. Don't just don't just write a check. Don't just hit PayPal. Don't say yes to paying for something until you first check, because there's everyone out there should know that you are more than just your career field. You are more than how well you are doing or how well you did in school. You are so much more than that. And there's scholarships that want to honor you for that. So
I like that.
That's good. Thank you so much for all your gems. You just like everything's just checked off.
I had fun. Let's do this again. Yeah.
Right? It was so much fun. There is something that we do ask all of our guest speakers that come on, and that is, what makes you uncommon?
It gets me a little lump in my throat when you ask that. I'm sure I'm not the only one who gets a little lump.
Yeah, you're not the only one at all.
It makes them think. Everyone thinks
I hope, by the way, I hope that you craft a book about all of the things that everyone says about what.
Well, that's a good thing to do. We'll have to get into that.
Maybe it could be a scholarship too.
Oh,
a good question for a scholarship too. What makes you uncommon? I would say that what makes me uncommon is that I I've never believed that you had to follow the pack. And I really believe that sometimes just by taking a sidestep out of the line of everybody else that you're following, sometimes you can get a much better view, and crafting your own way from your own point A to your own point B can be shorter, faster, more exciting. Yeah, I've definitely I've definitely designed my own way, and that's what this work is about. It's the work that I do. That's what it's about. It's definitely not following the pack. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jean. Thank you for coming on today and just giving us your expertise. 15 years of doing what you're doing. We know that it's a passion that you have, and your purpose is definitely going to impact people that's listening. Be sure, listeners, to share this with everyone, because even if their kids aren't in college right now, they still have an opportunity to get some of the free bucks, and not pay for college when it gets there.
Yes.
There you go. Go get the money. Yeah, go get the money.
Go get the money. Yes.
And dogs are children too. I have a dog. It's here. Side note, because they're expensive too. But anyway, thank you again for tuning in with us and coming on and just showing us your purpose and how you're helping others, and just taking your testimony of what you went through when you were going through college to be engaging and helping others. Just make it less stressful and just more convenient for people that's going through the struggle or the process. Viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Uncommon Women Podcast. If you want to purchase any of our self-love products or want to be a potential guest speaker, be sure to check out our website at uncommonwomen.net. And also, if you have any questions, concerns, or any topics you want us to discuss, you can more than welcome to email us at uncommonwomenpodcast@gmail.com. Next week, we have an amazing guest speaker that's going to be coming on next Thursday at 6 p.m. talking about bullying. So we are starting to get on the process of college, school, and now we'll be talking about bullying. So you do not want to miss that. That's next Thursday at 6 p.m. We have a guest speaker that's going to be speaking on that. Thank you so much for tuning in, viewers, and stay uncommon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.